responsibility for as a country. When I started to read about nuclear weapons, I realised that this was probably the scariest thing facing our planet. And as a young mother of 3 little children, I wasn't worrying about the existential threat to the whole of humanity at that time. Why would I worry about their music lessons and whether they clean their teeth or not? There were ships coming into Auckland Harbour, potentially carrying nuclear weapons. New Zealanders took action, not just in Auckland but Wellington. Legislation through in 1984. And once you get the South Pacific nuclear-free zone with about 14 states in there, that then spread in the 90s. There were mass demonstrations on the streets right throughout Europe in the early 80s. All of my generation, we thought that we were going to get rid of them before now. They have not gone. Nuclear weapons have come down from 74,000 in 1986, but at the moment there are about 13,400 strategic nuclear weapons. Russia, China, US, France, UK, North Korea, India and Pakistan.
India and Pakistan have a poor track record in terms of diplomacy. They've had 3 wars since World War II. Their politicians regularly abuse each other, and there's a lack of serious engagement. And Pakistan itself has elements of a failed state. The government has not got full control over its military, it seems at times. And there's been situations where there's a prospect of a non-governmental group taking over a Pakistani military facility. That is just a ridiculous situation for nuclear power.
In a small scale, in scare quotes, but small scale nuclear exchange, such as one between India and Pakistan, we're talking 100 Hiroshima scale nuclear weapons. They say that even that could cause a very severe nuclear winter.
First, you duck, and then you cover. Tricking each other may be a race against time.
1945, the politicians were like, okay, nuclear weapons can kill you by being dropped on you.
American families supplied by private industry are to represent Mr. and Mrs. America.
They weren't fully cognizant of how bad the fallout was.
An explosion on the ground sucked up this debris and made it radioactive. The wind has blown it here. Many roofs are open to the sky. Some of the lethal dust gets in.
But now they're like, okay, we got it. It's the blast and the radioactivity, that's it. And then in the 60s, they discovered the electromagnetic pulse. That if you drop a nuclear weapon and detonate it 400 kilometers over Earth, you might take out the electrical grid over a large part of the continent, wiping out the water supply, the whole infrastructure, traffic, and today maybe much of the internet. So they're like, oops, okay, now we got it. We understand all the risks now. It's just the blast and the fallout and EMP. And then in the 80s, scientists discovered the thing with nuclear winter. You see the mushroom cloud going way above the clouds, up into the stratospheres, and the sunlight warms up those black clouds, and the jet streams quickly spread them around the globe.
Which basically gets obstruction of the sun from warming the Earth and potentially very large dips in temperature globally.
We did an experiment to find out what happens to 10-day-old barley if the light is reduced to 1% and the temperature is by 10 degrees. It's unlikely to yield any grain.
This would lead to crop failures, freezing temperatures in some parts of the world.
And then next summer, it's below freezing almost every day, and it's quite likely that a good fraction of Earth's population would starve to death. That's nuclear winter.
We in New Zealand, used to be able to think that we would sit comfortably while the rest of the world see its sins wither. We know that if the nuclear winter comes, we freeze, we join the rest of you.
Anyone who's concerned about climate change should be equally concerned about nuclear winter, because these are just 2 different ways of collapsing the biosphere by putting carbon in the atmosphere.
You're on EarthX.
This is my phone. It's also my new bank, GoToBank, the app and debit card that makes banking super easy. There are no monthly fees with direct deposit, and I earn 4.5% APY on my savings. It's mobile banking at its best. Open an account at gotobank.com.
Did you know you get a free online training course that covers all the